Okay, what if I told you that your most cherished memories could actually last forever? I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's a future we are getting closer to every single day. Today, we're going to dive into how our own personal experiences could be preserved as permanent digital assets. Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. What if your childhood laughter, or a final goodbye, or that moment of pure victory wasn't just a fleeting thought in your head? What if it was a permanent, digital artifact that you could actually, truly own? And this is the massive shift we're talking about today. Imagine your grandfather's stories, not just as these memories that kind of fade over time, but as permanent digital artifacts you can go back to anytime. We're talking about moving from fleeting thoughts to ownable experiences. Look, for centuries, we've tried to hang on to our memories, right? Through photos, diaries, home videos. But all of that stuff is so fragile. It's vulnerable. Photos fade, diaries get lost, files get corrupted. Blockchain, though, offers a totally different path, a permanent, incorruptible vault for our most precious moments. And this is where it gets really mind-bending, because by preserving a moment forever, we can give it a new kind of life. It becomes more than just a memory. It becomes an asset, a legacy, a piece of your story that can be passed down for generations to come. So how in the world does this actually work? Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the tech behind this really powerful and, potentially world-changing idea. People are calling these memory tokens, and you can think of them like NFTs, but instead of a piece of digital art, the asset is a moment. It could be a hug, a sunset, a huge turning point in your life, a really personal fragment sealed forever on the blockchain. We've come such a long way from just relying on our own brains to remember things. We went from telling stories to writing them down to taking photos and videos. Every step got us a little bit closer to preserving our experiences. Well, memory tokens, they represent the next giant leap forward. A way to make our memories not just recordable, but permanent and actually ownable. This technology isn't just about saving old memories. It's about creating a totally new kind of legacy, one that goes way beyond money and property and touches the very essence of who we are as people. I saw one writer put it perfectly. They said, "Imagine leaving behind not money, not land, but perfectly preserved moments of love, laughter, and lessons." I mean, this is about creating a legacy of experience, a way for future generations to connect with us on a really, really personal level. And the process itself is surprisingly straightforward. You experience a meaningful moment, you mint it on the blockchain, and bam, it's yours to keep forever. Imagine your great-grandchildren not just hearing stories about you, but experiencing your proudest moments, your biggest joys, your deepest loves, almost like they were right there with you. Okay, but if these memories have value and they can be owned, it's only a matter of time before they can be bought and sold. And this is where the idea of tokenizing memories explodes beyond just our personal lives and into the realm of history, culture, and commerce. And that right there is the pivotal question that investors are already starting to ask. I mean, if your personal memories can be turned into tokens, what about our collective memories? What about history itself? Just think about being able to own a piece of history. And I don't mean a replica or a recording, but the actual official digital token of a president's final speech or the first steps on Mars. This would completely change our relationship with the past, turning it into a whole new kind of collectible, a new kind of investment. Of course, with this incredible power comes a whole mess of really complex ethical questions. We have to think very, very carefully about the unintended consequences of creating a permanent, monetizable record of our lives. The technology to do all this, it's pretty much already here. So the real challenge isn't technical, it's ethical. We need to start grappling with some seriously profound questions about what it even means to be human in a world where our memories can be bought, sold, and owned. For instance, when history itself can be bought and sold, who gets to be the gatekeeper? Does the person with the most money get to own and maybe even control the narrative of our collective past? And what about turning our experiences into products? What happens when our most painful moments, our most joyful moments, or heck, even our most controversial ones, are suddenly for sale on an open market to the highest bidder? And this might be the biggest question of all. The power to create a permanent record is also the power to curate it. So who decides? Who decides which memories get saved and which ones are just left to fade away? So, where does all this leave us? What does it mean for our future? We are standing on the edge of a world where our experiences, our memories, our very essence could be preserved forever. And this is the fundamental trade-off we're facing. On one hand, you have this incredible promise of a permanent legacy, a way to share our lives with generations we'll never meet. But on the other hand, you have the risk of reducing our most personal experiences to just commodities, data in a digital marketplace. So, I'll leave you with this one thought to chew on. If you had the chance, right now, to preserve one single moment from your life forever, to pass it down through all the generations to come, what moment would you choose, and why?